stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Please take your seats. Roll call, please.
Heister. Here. Savage. Here. Roaches.
Here.
Ramos. Here. Schultz. Here.
There was an executive session held prior to tonight's meeting to discuss personnel. At this point, is there any public comment on agenda items at this time? Just a friendly reminder, you do have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes in total, not 3 minutes and come back 10 minutes later and come back again. But so everyone know you have 3 minutes and that's it. So, public comment, please state your name, ma'am.
Tracy Lesher. I was wanting to ask Councilman Marinos why he is wanting to hire part-time code instead of full-time. And what is the time frame for interviews and training?
Right now we are advertising. Jackie and I feel that we are ready to begin bringing a part-timer to get them trained to assist with the code office.
And do you have the job description for the code officer yet?
Yes, we already have a part-timer in the office.
You have the job description for the part-time one that you're hiring?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything else?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment at this time on agenda items only? Please state your name.
Sandra Hahn. I live on Chestnut Street here in Sunbury. As of last week, I was told that the Sunbury Police Department has 10 full-time officers and 6 part-time officers. And I see, I don't know if we're getting another one or if that's just a promotion. Anyway, here in Sunbury, we have approximately 9,452 people who live in Sunbury. That's according to 2026, according to the U.S. Census state population estimates. So if you take those 10 officers and the 6 part-time, you could say I'm used 13. The 6 part-time are equivalent to 3. That's about 730 citizen people, residents, for each officer. Our Hispanic population in Sunbury is estimated at 4.1%. I don't believe the majority of those Hispanic people are felons, however you want to put it. And I did get my other question answered, but I think we need, and of the 730 people per police officer, how many are criminals? You know, you got to take people like me out. I don't run very fast anymore. And you got to take little kids out. So you're right. It is funny. You know, and there's a lot of people around here in wheelchairs. They don't go very fast.
But they can still break the law, though.
They can, but they're easy to catch. Don't be easy to catch.
Anything else? All right. Any other public comment at this time? And I'm going to start here with my member. Please state your name, sir.
Steve Raver, I live on Chestnut Street, and I'll tell you, when we see some cops pull somebody over in the morning, early in the morning, you want a lot of cops there. I'll tell you, they have to deal with some really tough characters. If you ask me, I think we should double the force. But I'm telling you, we need
I like what you're saying.
We need more cops. We need more cops.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, sir?
No.
All right. I'm working my, please say your name.
Yeah, I'm Randall Hollenbach. Just want to make a comment on the vote we want to do on 287G. I don't know why that was taken in the first place. That's just obeying the law. That's what it is. Purely, that's all it is. It's just bringing in additional help to help our officers uphold the law. And we have 11 boroughs and 2 cities in this county. This is the county seat. We really should lead the way on this. And we should issue. I think they voted in favor of. Thank you. Come on, a little more. That's all I have.
Please say your name, sir.
Peterson Toscano. I live in Sunbury. And what I've loved about this whole process with the 287G, it's brought back some great memories of my dad, who died in 2012. And I remember in the 70s, when we were kids, we were offered a free meal in the Poconos. And all we had to do was sit through a presentation about a timeshare. And so we're sitting there, and it was exciting. They talked about all the pools, how easy it was to, get rid of the timeshare or sell it or whatever. And about 20 minutes into the presentation, my dad said, "All right, we're done." He didn't want the free meal. He said, "This is bullshit." He said, "Because we're going to lose money on this deal." Now, my dad never went to college. He never went to high school. He went to the 6th grade, but he could see when there was a bad deal. And this helped me 20 years later, in the 90s, when I was the director of education in New York City for the Center for Alternative Sentencing for felons. And we worked with lots of agencies in the city, the state, federal. The more money that came, was promised, the more work we had to do. And there were so many times we would get this amazing looking opportunity that we had to go through and see there are not enough answers to our questions, that this is actually going to end up costing us more time and money than it's worth. And that is one of the problems with this 287G. Yes, we need to support the police. They need more money. They need more support. But the problem with this agreement, there's too many unanswered questions, including if we say no to the contract at some point and say we're going to get out of this, we don't know. We heard at the meeting earlier, we don't know if we have to give the money back that we had. Final thing. Our chief is a great chief. I've been getting to know him and all. He's also very new in this position. And he's doing a fine job. He's got a lot to do. And if I were his supervisor, I would say, I love this incentive, trying to get us money, we need to do that, but I would like you to succeed in your job, so let's wait a year, you settle into your position, get everything you need in place, and then we can revisit this and let Milton be the test case to see if people actually get reimbursed for all of this, so that we don't have to be the ones that is the guinea pig. Thanks.
Please state your name, sir.
James Shively.
I'll work my way back, guys, so, yeah, go ahead, sir.
James Shively. I'm a resident here since about 95, and I'm a voter, for some of you up there. I'd just like to express my support for the police and also for the 287G. I think we should be doing more, and we do have a problem in Sunbury. Anybody that does not believe we have a problem, I have some articles here. And you can come and camp out in my backyard. I live close to where the stabbing was, where they arrested 3 illegals. Before that, I had no problem. You asked me about a year and a half ago, I had no problem with anybody. I probably wouldn't even before this. But when a bloody knife is found in the yard next to you, right where you mow, okay, and then you find out that 3 of them are illegals, okay, it changes you until you've gone through that. You're going to be changed after that. I am all for this. I've read over it and everything. There's a jail enforcement model, a task force model. I think we should be doing all of it because the quote here is illegal. They need to do it the legal way. And if somebody wants to go to their legislators and change the law, like they have done with marijuana, then do that. But right now, it is illegal, okay, and they need to be removed.
People are not.
Again, we're not arguing back and forth. You got anything else, sir?
That's my opinion, and like I said, I have the article here, and someone's welcome to come out and sit in my backyard, and they can see what's going on and everything. And before this, I wanted to tell you about a year and a half ago, they invited me over. I didn't know they were illegals. I had no, they're my neighbors. They invited me over. I had something with, I'm not sure what it was called. It was a bean type paste with avocados and everything. I ate it. I drank a beer. Kind of communicated with them. Everything's fine until the stabbing. And then I realized what was going on. And until you have that, I'm sorry, until you have that, your opinion is not going to change until you do have that probably. But hopefully just by me saying this, somebody's opinion will change on it. And I'm still fine with them living next to me and down from me. as long as they aren't illegals, as long as they don't stab anybody. But when you have to fear a little bit to go out in your backyard and everything because of what's going on about by the other end of this building here, it makes you change your mind very quickly. And I'm in support of this, and I think we should do this.
Thank you.
And the article's here if anybody wants to read it.
Sir, right here, go ahead, sir. Please state your name. I'm a gentleman with the red and red polo, yes.
Glenn Moyer, I'm here on Ray Street. So I don't know if everybody knows that ICE killed somebody else this morning. In Maine, they shot him through the windshield. He has a social security number, apparently it's all very early information. He has permission to work. So this is in Maine, it happened early this morning. Now, several people, including myself, have asked about training that the officers would receive on it. And 2 times ago, the chief said that we couldn't have a link, we couldn't see what training they would get on this program. Now, he seemed that was contradicted in the Daily Item, in the article that he was quoted in. Now, several people have asked for a public hearing before you go forward, instead of just a few of you deciding to go on this insane project with an out-of-control paramilitary force. And it's really, it would be a shame for you not to have a public hearing, to let people present actual information about this 287D. And is the training program, can we see what these officers are trained for? Because we know that ICE jumps out of unmarked cars, they smash people, they kill them, and they lie about it. It's a playbook. And that's what you're considering partnering. So I think we should have a public hearing. I mean, you guys obviously, or most of you, seem to be interested in putting this through. The way it was, I want to thank the Daily Item for exposing this, because when you put it on the agenda, you've only put on like 287G program brochures. Nobody would have known about that if the Daily Item hadn't done it. So it's inappropriate for those of you to decide to go on this course, because it is a disaster. They do hold the local communities end up paying out huge bills on this. Down in Lehigh County, some time ago, the county lost $95,000 they had to pay out to some American citizens who was abused. And there are accounts like this all over the country. You guys haven't done your research, or else it's almost impossible to think that you would go forward with this if you actually saw what's going on from this organization.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, ma'am. Please, okay, sorry, please say your name, I'm sorry.
Lenore Askew, I live on Reagan Street in Sunbury, and I have been a resident here for over 50 years. My concern goes back to, hooks on to something that Peterson said, and it's about the finances of this. I looked up some things on Spotlight and TWA USA is an advocacy group, and I asked how many people really got money from this whole deal. And at this point in time, and this is in Pennsylvania, at this point in time, only 35% of the towns that have signed up to do this with ICE have received any funds. 65% of them have not received funds, and there are all reasons for why these things have been held up. And they're all kind of phony reasons for why they're not paying you forward. And a lot of the things, as I understand it, for the task force, you have to pay ahead of time. So our police department would end up paying for things before they get reimbursed. Of course, we tell them that they're going to get reimbursed, and they have not been reimbursed.
Excuse me, when you say we are paying for things, like what are you referring to? Because there's nothing in there that says we need to purchase anything to begin this. So when you're saying we need to pay things in advance to get reimbursed, what are you referring to when you say that?
I'm referring to what they're saying that the police department has to invest
What-
in order to.
As in what do we need to invest in?
Well, we need to invest in their time to do the things that they're going to do for ICE.
They're already doing it.
Well, okay,
They're already doing it.
continue, Dan. I was just curious what you meant by that, because that's knowledge to us, but go ahead, continue, me interrupt.
But the fact that only 35% of the people who were promised this money have received anything over this time, I just think you're placing your mind on the money that you're supposed to get, and I don't trust that it's going to come through. And I trust, as he said, that we would have situations where the city would be responsible for covering litigation that would happen because of this connection with ICE. I'm all in favor of increasing things for the police department, but I just don't think doing it with ICE is a good place to, be a companion. They really are close.
Thank you. Please state your name, ma'am.
Hi, Joanne Cashman, I'm a resident of Sunbury. And I made a couple notes because I wanted to stay on track as much as possible. But I've joined this conversation for the last two meetings, and really I spent a lot of time learning about what was happening with these 287 programs, heard all the fiscal information, some of the things that the lawyer talked about and what others have talked about. But for me, my concern was about these models and the model that we're choosing. So in that June 15th meeting, we heard that ICE has been here for 10 months. And my question at that time was, to what extent does the last 10 months predict what the next 10 months is going to be? We have no idea what the next 10 months might bring here if there's a surge in ICE. We know from the experience of our friends, relatives, not just the things we see on TV, that different experience is very real in a lot of areas. So at that meeting, you wisely chose to postpone the decision and think about it a little more, learn more about it. So that really got me thinking about these models, because you introduced the idea that you were proposing that task force model. So I started doing some readings on this, and I found out that this jail enforcement model allows the police or commits the police to interview people that are in our jails. And although that may be not something I would choose, it's a model that's got boundaries, and it's a model that people can understand. The public can understand what's going to happen there. The second model was that warrant service model, and it trains our police officers to serve administrative warrants in our jails. And although this might not be agreeable to many because it's an administrative warrant issued by ICE, not a judicial warrant, again, it's got boundaries, it's understandable what's going to happen. But this task force model seems to pose the greatest risk to public trust. Essentially, local police are trained and certified to make immigration arrests during regular police work. They become agents of ICE. Why would our council be considering this option? At the last meeting, we heard from a gentleman that happened to be here on another issue. He was a member of the Lewisburg and East Buffalo Regional Police Commission. He told us that in their commission, joint commission, they examined all the options and they chose none. And that decision might have been influenced by a story of one of their own, which I learned about. But so I would have a first-hand account. I called this family. This family is active in the community in Lewisburg and adopted a child from Guatemala 28 years ago. For those 28 years, they've had no difficulty in school, in the community, or any kind of national or international travel. She's an American citizen. She has a U.S. passport. She has a real ID. She's been detained by ICE twice. And the family is now involved in a series of 3 hearings to prove that their adoption was legal. They have incurred considerable expense for attorneys and have had to post a large bond to keep their daughter out of detention. So we do not know what we may be experiencing through ICE policies and procedures as it unfolds in both big cities and small towns. But your decision tonight will affect what happens in this town. So I would ask you to do as our neighbors in Lewisburg did, reject the agreement, and mix local policing with federal enforcement. But if you choose to sign the 287 agreement, please explain to us why you're choosing among these three models. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Right here, ma'am, I'll work myself, keep working my way back, go ahead, yes.
My name's Ellie Fogarty, and I'm very involved in a lot of community projects in the area. And I'd like to quote from a letter written by Dr. Bruno, a respected pediatrician, and I agree with his thoughts. Why would we want to sell our soul to the devil? What kind of message does that send to our community? And he goes on to quote the words at the base of the Statue of Liberty. And another point that I'd like to bring up is, why are we trying to accept money from a government that I don't think we can trust to send the money to us for the sake of a car or extra training? I would feel that we have enough confidence in our police staff. You certainly have the proof that you respect them and that you think that they can do a good job. So why do we have to bring ICE into it? I think it's a practical answer, a situation. You don't need just to get the money. Money has been accepted from other people for jobs that are going to be done in this city, and you wonder, why are they greasing their hands, and what are they getting out of it? So I think we have to think the same way about that. And I would also fear for the behavior of some of our officers in the heat of the moment. As much as we may respect their opinion and their training, what's going to happen when the thugs from ICE are urging them on to do the kind of things they should not do? And the part from, again, from the daily item is a quote from the valedictorian of Milton High School. And the ending of the quote from the Lutheran pastor is, "Then they came for me, and there was no one to speak."
Or you said people, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Mike Phillips, and I'm a resident of Sunbury. And listening to some of these comments this evening and last meeting, and speaking to a lot of residents of Sunbury, I think in my support of this agreement, I might represent a silent majority, because I've spoken to a lot of people who think that are basically are in favor of this agreement. While we certainly can have different opinions and we can express them, due to ideological differences, the issue has been blown way, in my opinion, much bigger and more controversial than it deserves to be. There are those that are vehemently opposed to anything having at all to do that's remotely related to the current administration of Washington, which in this case obviously includes ICE. I've heard it said that if this administration came out in favor of breathing, there would be those that would hold their breath, basically. So obviously, you've had time to study this agreement, including legal and financial issues, and you're the ones responsible for making a decision. I'm just hopeful that in some cases fear-mongering and false narratives have not had too much of an influence. We're led to believe that this agreement is signed, the Sunbury police will be spending an inordinate amount of time interacting with ICE and helping to enforce our immigration laws. As a result, we won't have time to perform their normal duties, and staffing will be negatively impacted. Chief Slack has told us signing this agreement won't be causing the department to do anything substantially different from what they're already doing. This spring, we've had from 1 to 0 interactions with ICE per month. Sunbury is not exactly Minneapolis, but we're also not Lewisburg and Selinsgrove. How difficult would you think it would be in a university town to get 500 signatures on a petition to avoid, to not cooperate with ICE? I don't think it would be very hard. Whether it would represent the community, the consensus of the community, maybe, or maybe not. We're also reminded that the agreement with ICE says we may receive funding for our police department. not that we will receive funding. I believe increased safety and maintaining the rule of law in our community are more important issues. However, we know many of our neighboring communities have accepted this agreement and have not had any major problems to date that I'm aware of, and have already received funds. We're also told the law-abiding legal immigrant community in Sunbury will be so terrified at the thought of local authorities cooperating with ICE that they would be reluctant to report crimes, making Sunbury less safe. Prior to becoming citizens, legal immigrants are guests in our country. As such, they have a particular responsibility to respect our culture and our laws, just like being a guest in someone's home. You respect their home, respect their rules. And that would include cooperating with law enforcement. It also should be noted, while the criminal element will at times prey on the community at large, most frequently prey on their own cultural communities. And we can see that for a fact. No doubt the majority of Sunbury's legal immigrant community are law-abiding, have strong work ethic, often strong religious values. Most contribute positively to our community. Nobody wants them to feel threatened in any way, least of all the Sunbury police. While we can have empathy, sometimes when taken to the extreme, it can do more harm than good. I've heard this described as suicide, or the example would be not enforcing our immigration laws because we're afraid we might hurt somebody's feelings or they might feel uncomfortable. While there's certainly a nuanced situation, there is a false narrative promoted by many that ICE is literally running around our communities, picking up people randomly and deporting them regardless of status. Evidently, an individual has come forward and volunteered to be a liaison between the Sunbury Police Department and Sunbury's immigrant community, and hopefully that would help to allay fears.
If you could, sir, please wrap up over time here with us.
So basically, you wonder why the majority of citizens in the county, most of which have immigrants in their ancestry, think we should enforce our immigration laws. And basically, in my opinion, it's a win-win situation. We can improve the safety in Sunbury, and at the same time receive some funding potentially. And that's a win-win situation. That's it.
Thank you. I'm going to go with the person in the middle. All I can see is a hand. I can't see who it is, but yes, ma'am. Yeah, please say your name.
Maggie, and I'm the daughter of an immigrant, and I want to give you some numbers that I have been researching. 50 human beings have been killed by ICE in the streets, in their homes. Countless others remain in the concentration camps with no voice, and they're dying. I don't see one individual that are murdering these people in the name of ICE and our government under any indictment or any accountability at all. If our police did that, you will see the same situation that happened with George Floyd. They are in jail. And I would just like people to think about that. That's having the license to do whatever you want, however you want, to whomever you want. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Lynn Gordon, Northumberland, referring to what Maggie said about the people that are dying with no explanation, no one being held accountable. These ICE guys are masked. I assume they're coming to Sunbury masked and on marked cars, and are just going to be grabbing anyone off the street that doesn't look like John. This is just so unconstitutional, so against everything that any decent person believes in. They are thugs.
Go ahead, in the back.
Is it okay if I give you guys a piece of paper with what I'm about to say?
You can go right ahead.
We just find a piece.
Optical cords, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought it would help with what I would like to communicate to you on this one.
3 minutes, buddy.
Please let me tell you a fascinating part of Sunbury history that probably no one in this room knows about besides the police and the fire chief. I'll connect this to the Trump administration when I said again. Lips of TikTok is a large social media group of approximately 5 million followers. The owner, Chaya Raichik, has a history of doxing and stochastic terrorism using her platform. On June 14, 2024, Lips of TikTok owner Chaya Raichik doxed a Sunbury citizen named Tony to her millions of followers. Tony's first and last name, profession, picture, and town was posted without his consent. One of our local Facebook groups also doxed Sunbury Man. After his information was doxed to millions of people, the fire department that he worked at received bomb threats. He received threats of violence, his family received threats, his friends received threats. The bomb threats to the Sunbury Fire Department that came from the doxing and stochastic action shut down firefighting services to our town for over an hour. After the threats of violence, he resigned. Lips of TikTok posted his response as a trophy of him asking please stop threatening his family and friends and apologizing. One of my favorite quotes comes from Tony in his response when he said, quote, "I have never felt so unsafe in my life," unquote. I think about his raw emotion and fear that Raichik contributed to. I bet the fire and police chief know about this incident, and I bet they know about the fear and danger that Lips of TikTok brought to their staff and the citizens of Sunbury when she continued her pattern of stochastic terrorism and doxed one of our citizens. Raichik didn't apologize like Tony did. She took his misery and broken sense of safety of his family, and she held it up like a trophy to gloat and mock. She has a long history of repeatedly denying her contributions to multiple bomb threats that followed her posts. This involves hospitals and schools and government organizations. Raichik achieved her goal when her doxing led to fear and danger for our citizens. In January 2023, Trump hosted Raichik and other influencers for a private dinner and praised her influence and work for an NBC article. Raichik helped President Trump during an informal debate prep before he famously said false statements about Asians eating pets, which led to multiple bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio. I remember the mayor saying at least 33 bomb threats happened from that false statement the president made. I believe working with ICE and cooperating with the Trump administration is not appropriate. This is because of the false conspiracies being pushed by President Trump, like the false conspiracy of the 2020 election being stolen, and dangerous, hurtful language, like calling other people animals and retarded, calling people vermin, and saying other people poison the blood of our country, and his use of McCarthyism. I'll wrap it up, but I just don't think it's appropriate. Like, he just pushes false conspiracies, he hurts people, he sexually assaulted someone, and defamed them and lied about it. The judge says that he put his finger inside her non-consensually. I consider that rape. The judge did too.
Yeah, so we just wrap it up, like I said, we're talking about, Sunbury, not what happened at the federal level with former president, so.
I think working with the ICE and the administration is wrong, because he hurts people with those false conspiracies. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Please state your name, sir.
My name is Roger Johnson. I'm a resident of Sunbury. I've lived in the area for more than 50 years and in Sunbury for more than 35. I'm so old that when I got here in the 70s, I worked at Jim McCall's Snedeker station. We worked with Jim Peiser's transmission and repair company.
How are you getting?
Pretty old, yeah. I was there on the front board with all of his customers. I knew the elder Weiss, the attorneys in Sunbury, and they were really supporters of the city. And now Attorney Joel Weiss sits on the board here to help direct Sunbury in having legal and directing matters done correctly. Another example of his family support for the town. The rest of you, I listen to more than I really want. I'm proud of Sunbury. I think that the city council is doing a job that I know I couldn't do. And they're here to do the job best for Sunbury. I believe they do as good as they can and have represented us well. It seems to be a good balance between conservative and progressive ideas, and they've done well for the years that I've been here. I feel safe with our police department. You can walk down any street in the town, any hour of the day or night, and feel safe. They're there for us. And if there's some time that you feel unsafe, well, call them. They will be here. I had the privilege of living in 11 countries and 2 continents and 46 states as a dependent of a military officer. And I started studying the governments of different countries. I lived in Germany for a number of years and really studied their government. They had a leader who came in and took over and held a grip on the country with the help of the brown shirts, the Waffen-SS, and the Gestapo. We have a leader who is sending ICE to do the same sort of job. Sometimes working legally and oftentimes at the edge of legality and sometimes illegally. And last week they shot and killed another person. And it turns out it wasn't the person they were looking for. And what we don't need is a bunch of people coming here from Missouri, Alabama, Utah, dressed in battle fatigues, carrying AR-15 rifles, Kevlar helmets, and masks. We've done pretty well over these years of taking care of the city of Sunbury, and I believe we can do the same thing again. 90% of the people that were in German concentration camps were not criminals. 71% of the people in our detention camps, which is the nicer word, they're not criminals. And yet even governors who want to go and see what's going on there are refused entry. They can't go in. I think that the city of Sunbury has taken care of itself pretty well. I think they can do so in the future, and I urge you to vote no to inviting ICE in here. If you invite them in, and they come in and take over, when they leave, the aftermath will be up to you, and the legal problems will be ours, not theirs. So again, I urge you to vote no, because we can do the job here ourselves. I've watched it for 50 years, and you guys and girls and people have done it very, very well. In the event that you vote yes and say, invite them in here and hand them over the keys to the city, all I can say is, watch out.
Please say your name, ma'am.
Sue Johnson, I'm his wife, and I'm going to be much shorter with this. I've been to all the meetings about this, and first of all, I have to disagree with Jim on front, I couldn't hear all what he was saying. I do think people are going to be afraid. I think people not looking like me are going to be afraid if we have ICE in here. I have a neighbor that I know goes to work and comes home and stays home. All they do, because they're afraid. So that's one point. And that would affect all of us. Imagine this. Imagine you, I'll pick Jody Ocker because I know her and I know what a wonderful driver she is, and I'll pick Melissa because I know she's equally bad. And they have a head-on collision, okay? And it's Jody's fault. And the only people that see that are the people that were outside, wherever that man over here in the first picture was talking about, and they know Jody's fault. Are they really going to come forward and say anything? I don't think so. They'd be foolish to. So I think that's one point. The other point I want to make is this. I see no reason in the world, given all the questions that have been asked and given all the history, what is the problem with putting this off? Why not just watch and see, let the other communities do what they're going to do. See what happens with them. See if they get their money.
see if their police force is acting the way we would want our police force to act. What do we have to lose? I don't see that we have anything to lose. I think you should vote no.
Any other public comment at this time? Please state your name.
Hi, I'm Amanda Bowerstocks. Been a resident for about 3 or 4 years, but I've lived off and on with family. I am a special needs mom. I'm concerned about our children with ICE, especially if ICE is going into the schools. I have 2 kids, one that's a young one and one that is special needs, obviously, and they're both in 2 different districts. How is that going to be fair if one of my children come in and say, Mommy, there was a strange man in our school, and my other son, who can't speak, has it happened to him, or doesn't have it happen to him. And then we see all of these kids running around late at night, question what they're doing at night. I mean, I do work other places, so I know how these kids are on some degree and level, but I'm just worried about their kids and the future of our kids when it comes to ICE. I personally, they don't need to be here. They don't need to be here.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Please state your name,
My
sir.
name's Larry Welford, 946 Martha Street, Sunbury, PA. I'm not here to micromanage City Council's programs at all, but I am here to encourage you to vote for this 287G program. I'd like to state that I moved to Sunbury in 1968, okay, and I'm proud of Sunbury, raised my family here. One of the things I always liked about Sunbury, they had a strong police force, and especially fire department. I don't know of another community that we would have to stand down to. And I would like to state, obviously, everyone's given you a piece of their mind so far. Some the facts are way skewed just a bit. But I would encourage you, after meeting a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Chief Slack and asked him about the program. I don't know all the ins and outs of the program, but I trust, sir, that you do. We're still operating off the third-class city code here in the city of Sunbury. You folks have all been elected, and then you make appointments to trusted people to carry out all the various committees and programs we have in Sunbury. And I'm proud of the way we need to support you in how you're doing. I'm proud of the job that you're doing. And I know Scott Davis, just from not by being arrested or anything like that, but I know Scott exercises great judgment too. And I enjoyed reading his comments about the training and the various aspects of 287G. I'm trusting that you folks will do your job with the best ability that you can, and that you have appointed capable people and you're getting good advice from them. Sometimes this advice comes at you all over the place. God bless you. I mean, you've been very patient this evening, and the group that I associate with, we often pray for our firemen and our policemen. I want them to go home in the evening to their families. And I want to personally tell you, I appreciate the job that all of you are doing. And be careful. All the noise out there sometimes can be alarming, okay? But you're going to have to exercise good judgment. Thank you.
Thank you. Please say your name, ma'am.
Danielle Bronowitz, Front Street, Sunbury. I had no intentions of speaking, but to wrap this up, I have to kind of highlight that right there. Strong police force. We trust our police. We have plenty, we can trust them, count on them. Don't know the ins and outs. So as you make your decision, I hope you heard from everyone who took their time to become educated, to come with facts and numbers, rather than just not knowing the ins and outs and just being persuaded by the $150,000 and all those promised incentives. So when you make your vote, go by those who took the time to do the research, to know the ins and outs, versus just, we want the, we don't know the ins and outs, but we're, only little promises dangling over our heads. And a lot of people have been outspoken on this. I hope as voted into this position, you hear the citizens and vote the way that the majority of us obviously feel.
Thank you. Please say your name, ma'am.
George Grundy, I live on R Street. I also wasn't planning on talking. I moved here around 5 years ago, and I never came to council meetings where I lived before, but I really love this. I think it's democracy at its ugly best. I would watch 6 seasons of this. But I just want to reiterate some of the things that have been said and respect how much work you all are putting into this, but I was at the work session earlier, and the comment that sort of got the biggest laugh was that we don't know what happens if we decide to withdraw from the agreement. And that's such a gaping hole. Like, what happens? Are there penalties? Is there interest? Is there any kind of, what are the repercussions? And the question indicates there are a lot of other things that we don't know. So I would just ask that we wait until we get those answers. And some of that data can come from seeing what happens with the other counties that have already signed on. Again, much respect to everything that is, all the work that you all are doing, but why can't we just take a minute till we have all the information that we need to make a really sound decision?
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Please say your name, sir.
Robert Miller, and I agree 100, maybe 200% with what Larry Walker has said.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Please say your name, sir.
Joe Bartello, I just wanted, is Chief Slack going to go over the 8 incidences that happened over the past 6 months?
That is up to Chief Slack if he shall.
Because I think that was important to hear what happened in the last 6 months here in the city.
Okay.
I think that's important.
You want to go right now, Chief?
We don't public comment?
What? Hold on. Is there any other public comment?
I just have one on Joe's. I was here and heard that. I think it's important for everybody to hear it. I would also like to know, in the same period of time that those 8 or 9 incidences happened, how many other people, just general population, were arrested that are citizens of Sunbury?
Any other public comment at this time? Please say your name, sir.
Justin Britton. Aside from everything else everybody said, right now ICE is being sued by the Mexican government for the death of 17 people in their custody. The United Nations is investigating them for crimes against humanity. So aside from anybody's opinion on whatever, that's what you're agreeing to by signing this agreement. That's what you're saying.
I'm going to start here, work my way back. Go ahead, say your name, ma'am.
Randy Beaver. The only thing I'm going to say is, I think this is just food for thought. If you did not have that financial money thing hanging in front of you, would you consider it?
Please state your name, ma'am.
Marie Lamardo, South 2nd Street in Sunbury. So currently, I actually have a video of a police officer with his weapon on, just out, knocking on my door. And I wanted to know why he has his weapon out. If ICE gets here, it's gonna get worse for people that look like me. So I wonder what the police force is gonna do about that and why that happened. Thank you.
Please state your name, ma'am, in the back. Julie.
I guess I don't need to say that. So, I appreciate everybody's opinion here that has come through tonight and for the last 6 weeks of these meetings. I am guessing at this point, council is well educated as to what this contract is going to bring back. So the other thing is that I'm not hearing. We are all from different nations and our nationalities when our ancestors came here. The other thing is Congress put ICE into effect after 9/11. Has anybody taken that into consideration? ICE has been here in this town for over a year. And had it not been for the published articles in the paper, I don't think anybody would be here.
That's right. So Francis, thank you for putting it in the paper. Any other public comment at this time before please state your name, sir?
Joseph Stutzman. Reading like her. All I want to say is for too long, we pick and choose which laws we want to enforce and which ones we don't. What is a law? Anybody out here? What is a law? They were passed by Congress in most cases. In the case of Homeland Security doing ICE, that was passed by Congress. You all voted for Congress. Which laws are we going to enforce? Which? Which are we going to enforce? That's all I'm asking.
Thank you. Any other public comment before I turn over to the chief? Please, sir, make it quick. We already went. But
I know, and I would just like to add that you have to remember that the people that ran the gas chambers in Poland and Germany were Christians. And they did this not and they were good people, but they did as they were told. If ICE comes in here and orders these people to do some of the things that we're reading about, they're obligated to do it. So we have to make sure that we have good people that resist.
thank you. Any other public comment before I turn it over to the chief? All right, Chief Slack, with your incidences that occurred, please, sir.
Okay, so go back to January. So we had 8 total incidents from January till now. We had the Court Street, we had a sexual assault, and we had a stabbing. Of that incident, there were 6 persons that were totally deported from that house in those incidents. We had an incident on Chestnut Street with a burglary and a squatting situation in a home. 2 persons were deported, 2 persons were let go. ICE immediately came to that scene for those persons that were detained that day. Water Street behind the high school, there was a male that was eventually deported. He was living down there, homeless. He was encountered by the police officers after numerous calls and reports on Facebook. That male, after being identified, was found that he was wanted by ICE for a sexual assault in Texas. He was deported. 300 block of Chestnut and 1100 block of Court Street, 2 homes that are linked to underage drinking with sexual assaults being investigated. 805 Market Street was just a home invasion there. 3 victims that lived in that home. They are all here illegally. 7 actors in that incident, 2 of which were juveniles and 2 are illegals, are all being charged, which subsequently manifested into another sexual assault of a 12-year-old related to that incident, for the justification for that home invasion. So we have 1 assault on the policeman at the Sunbury Police Department where a person wanted deported and came, knocked on the door, and then assaulted the police officers because he said he wanted arrested, so he could be deported back home. We had a school bus stop sign where a person was arrested for running the stop arm out on a stop sign. That person, before facing the separate offenses and charges related to that, was deported. Trying to cover, I have right in front of me April, we're talking about total persons arrested in the city of Sunbury. I do this monthly, usually the second meeting of every month for the previous month, but there was April, 12 felony arrests, 43 misdemeanor arrests, 72 summary citations filed. May, 49 arrests, 0 felonies, 70 misdemeanor charges, and 109 summary offenses. June, total arrests 28, 19 of felony, 33 misdemeanor charges were filed, 52 summary citations were filed. That's just the criminal arrest. I'm not going to go over the traffic for you at this time. Just ask to clarify, there's 3 months of arrest, so there is a lot of people getting arrested in town. And in closing on this, I'd just like to say we're not voting on behalf of or for Donald Trump. That's not an issue that's been brought up several times. We're not voting to have ICE come in and funds in our town. ICE already does what ICE does. This is merely a mechanism in place for us to recruit funds on these situations in the instance where I listed to you already, where those persons that we've already encountered on normal duties, we're going to continue to encounter normal duties for a mechanism in place to seek reimbursement for some of the expenditures on that. That's the process of the plan. Yes, the memorandum is very cookie cutter, as I've discussed with Peterson and everyone else. It's very open. We're looking at where, yes, it would exit. It's my opinion, and I don't know if the solicitor Lee shares the same. If we are unhappy with the arrangement, then we separate at any time, and there is no expenditures that would be paid back if someone received it. There's nothing in place for that, so it's my opinion that once we would, if we did receive any money, that we gain that. But also, yes, training that would help us understand. I know it's been brought up before, situations where some persons are here a civil offense because they've overstayed a green card or a visa. That is a civil offense, not arrestable, and that's where you're seeing persons or police officers and other agencies and throughout the country being sued because they're detaining and arresting that person, and it's a civil offense. The training helps to alleviate that problem, understanding the fact that if someone does come across the border, say a coyote, or not to report past, they're here illegally, that is a misdemeanor offense. If they would happen to be deported and come back again, or a second offense, that is a felony charge. So that's what the training's about. That's better, and I think that training will only help my officers better understand that and navigate those waters. So, and I'm here, and I said it before, and I say it again, I'm not here, I'm not going to be organizing, going black mask and running from house to house or going in neighborhoods. We're going to deal with people that are already involved in, or police calls that we're already dealing with. That's the expenditures. We're already going to be working. So there's no other expenditures from this that we have to pay for or buy. This is literally a mechanism for us to go ahead and recoup funds in situations like I've described here tonight.
Thank you, Chief Slack. All right, so moving on here. So I make the motion for approval of minutes and reports, minutes from the June 8th and 22nd meeting, and reports from the Fire Department, Police Department, Treasurer, Controller, Code Office, Health Department, Parks and Rec, and Planning Commission. Do I have a second? Second.
Savage. Yes. Procius.
Yes.
Ister. Yes. Ramos.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
All right, moving on here to swearing in Corporal Doyle. I don't know, Chief Saki, if you want to give a real brief about to be Corporal Doyle.
To be Corporal Doyle, he's been with us for over 7 years, been in service and police service and medical field over 30 years. I think we had 6 years prior to working with us in Montoursville. He's been an EMT for over 30 years, so his life's been devoted to service. He is our most senior member of the police department, and I'm proud of him.
All right.
He will be cleaned by his son, Christopher. He'll put his badge on him. Grab one.
I guess I need to ask, do you accept the promotion?
My dad just wants to have him work. You're not going to get that. I'll get stabbed by mistake.
All right, please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Aaron Doyle,
I, Aaron Doyle.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear.
that I will support,
That I will support.
obey,
Obey.
and defend the Constitution of the United States
Support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth.
And the Constitution of the Commonwealth.
I will enforce the laws
I will enforce the laws.
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
The laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
and the ordinances and laws of the City of Sunbury.
And the ordinances and laws of the City of Sunbury.
I will discharge the duties
I will discharge the duties
as Sunbury Police Corporal
as Sunbury Police Corporal
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I do further swear
I do further swear.
that I will uphold,
I will uphold.
obey,
Obey.
enforce all laws
Enforce all laws.
without consideration of a person's race,
Without consideration of a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
orientation,
orientation,
ancestry,
ancestry,
or handicap.
or handicap.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Corporal.
Didn't mean to grab it.
Congratulations.
All right, here, so just moving on here, so just some updates from my office here, just like also statistics like the chief gives out. So between April and June, we've received over 2,200 phone calls, have logged, right now, we're at 78 right to knows, have logged over 2,300 community service hours. And we currently are with the beautification of Sunbury with helping those in need to help cut the grass when they can't do anymore. We right now currently maintain 21 properties for the elderly or people who may not be able to do it at this point in time. So if you do know anyone out there who may not be able to take care of their lawns anymore, please send them our way, that we can get them on their list, so that way it doesn't become a code issue for Councilman Ramos. So this little update there. I also have, where did former Chief Remington go? Where'd he go? All right, we'll get an update from him later at the end and on some other things as well. So just moving on here to old business. All right, moving on to old business here. So I make the motion to vote to participate in the 287G program. Do I have a second? Ister.
Yes.
Troop.
Yes.
Brochus. Yes. Ramos.
So before I vote, one of the many items that we as city council are tasked to do, one is to protect the city, protect its residents, and protect those who visit here. I've had multiple questions, chiefs like anything, and during the work session and privately. When I look at this contract, it comes down to confidence in the police force to carry out the duties of the department professionally and to adhere to the policies and procedures and use of force. My vote is yes.
Savage.
Before I vote, I realize the outcome's determined, but I want to say to everybody here, come back when we have zoning and ordinance questions and other public comment inputs, but what I do want to say is this comes down to not only liberal versus conservative, but also libertarian versus populist, and everything in between, as many of you who have visited other countries have said. A big thing is also the federalism perspective of federal government versus state and city rights. And contracts, insurance coverages are things that we all considered heavily, and the chief spent extensive time. I echo Councilman Ramos' sentiments that trust in the police department is important. Everybody here has said that. At this time, I'm going to also vote yes, make the decision unanimous, and trust our chief and our local police department.
We need to organize people.
All right, just going back now, since former Chief Remington, now part-time, stepped in, just an update, Chief, on some of the things that I know Controller Alex had some questions on before. He's not here tonight, but you can just update the council in general.
Oh, yes, so I was hurt, I was in a line of breathing injury back in the end of April. A lot of people didn't know. Kind of cut the interaction with during a foot pursuit. I tore my hamstring from my buttocks. So I was down for, I'm just off crutches now, just got off crutches 2 weeks ago. So I'm back as much as I can. I'm hoping to get back there soon for at least a desk duty type job, but I want to give an update because I know Jerome had been asking where the investigation was with the amusement tax, also with the camera investigation. Just wanted to let you know that's not going away. I am back, and I'm back to say basically we'll keep going at this thing in the investigation. We did open it. It's about a quarter to a halfway completed. When I had the injury, I was actually working on it that day. But we've got a percolating in progress, and we did get the person that we were after, so it's all fine. So eventually here, I will be back to work here soon. I'm looking through physical therapy as much as I can and as fast as I can to get back to the road here. When I do come back, it's at a part-time, basis, but be at the disposal of Chief Slack for anything he needs for investigations. Did conduct the last 12 homicide investigations here in Sunbury, so I'm still here. So just want to let you guys know if there was any questions. I know Jerome's not here. That I thought he would be here tonight, but if there's any questions as to what's going on, I think you're be able to address them for you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on here to Councilman Meister, the rental river opportunities. Yes.
For the work session, we discussed it with Mr. Savage, who's going to put a plan together, bring it back to council, possibly food wagons and different events down the river. So we're looking forward to your proposals. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, Councilman Ramos.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to approve the second reading of the amended parking ordinance with the intent to adopt.
Second.
True? Yes.
Brochus.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Ister. Yes. Ramos.
Yes.
Moving on, new business, Councilman Ramos.
I'd like to make a motion to advertise for a part-time code enforcement officer, 20 hours per week for $17 an hour.
Second.
Ister. Yes. Savage.
Yes.
Brochus.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Keep going, Councilman Ramos.
I'd like to make a motion to release the security bond for 901 South 2nd Street project.
Second.
True.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Ister. Yes. Savage.
Yes.
Brochus.
Yes. Moving on, Councilman Savage.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of abstracts and vouchers for the general fund in the amount of $109,991.10, liquid fuels in the amount of $16,372.01, private grants in the amount of $900, and payroll in the amount of $97,640.62.
Second.
Ister. Yes. Brochus.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
All right, moving on to discussion topics. So the text to pay, first part of that. So long story short, in the beginning of this year, I know there's some question about the text to pay thing. So we tried to go in and get the data from the text to pay, I'll call it software. Help me out here, Lisa. So basically, long story short, the software changed from a new company, from the old company to a new company. So long story short, we don't have access to any of that data or can even get into text to pay at this point in time. So I'm putting it up to the city if we, A, want to continue to do the text to pay or try to get the data back to see if it was worth having it or not. So that's option one. Do we want to continue to have it or we don't want to look at the data and see if it was worth having or not? So
Well, I can tell you when I was treasurer, and the income that we took in from text to pay, when we were paying out to them people, we were losing money. It was not even close.
Unfortunately, I don't have numbers to show you.
but that's what I'm saying, we don't have it. That's how we found out it was
I
down.
can tell you, because I approached this years ago, but they're not making any money off that.
So I guess if that's how everyone else feels, that's fine. We can bring it up for a vote at the next council meeting. I just wanted to bring that up for a discussion topic so everyone is aware and is on the same page. Now, going back to the no parking signs. Now, Chief Slack can attest to this. So there are many times when Todd or a police officer gives out a ticket and there's not enough no parking signs on the blocks. They take pictures, and this is like no one's fault. It's just the nature of the beast where the sign is at. So what we're asking Kevin, Steve, like if you guys would go around and do inventory to say, hey, like other people say, well, I parked here and the sign's way down there in the block. I didn't see the sign. So we're asking if you guys could possibly get more signs installed in.
If Todd's on the streets all the time, people are parking to the sound, correct?
Correct.
So why don't he tell us exactly what street it is and where the sign needs to be placed? Because he's out there.
No, we have, like I said, we have no problem. We just wanted to bring it to you guys. So like,
it needs to be put up.
It's a common occurrence or a common excuse. If you want to work with Todd, I'm pretty sure he is aware of where his most.
We can, you can listen to this and something, we'll make sure the sign gets up.
Back to Steve, as you know, this was, we don't need a sign in every block.
No, but we do. We have a sign on every block. Yeah, there's a sign on every block, and
saying it's an excuse. We're saying that it's an excuse and the judges are excluding.
Yeah, because what happens is.
Another sign is gonna, Northumberland set the standard, they're doing like 2 o'clock. So hence, people come over and think, Lenore does this. Spend a lot of money on signs doing what we did already.
I know.
Yeah, so we'll get with Todd and, you know, the ones that are the higher issued locations, we can with you guys. All right, then moving on to the police camera project here, so let's give everybody an update on that. So Chief Slack and I are applying for a grant, so to possibly, like I said, if the grant is awarded, to try to get cameras at all the entrances and exits to the town. That way, it's, you know, part of a bigger camera system trying to tie into what we already have now, just in case when there are instances that are occurring throughout the city or in our local municipalities, when someone's in a car or vice versa, we can tap into that camera system. So right now, Chief Slack is looking into different types of grants to possibly pay for that. I don't know, Chief, if you wanted to elaborate more at this time on possibly the capabilities of what it could be, or obviously wait to, it's up to you. But that's a
So,
long story short.
in a nutshell, or to try to synopsis as quick as I possibly can for everyone, dream case scenario, have every egress in and out of town covered, which is 7 locations. Be able to then also in that particular cameras, install for them to choose, for them to choose. The whole desire is that that can be implemented with, or should I say rather, our pre-existing cameras that are already in place that we've been working on, that can be implemented into this system. So it all functions together into one network that will give us good top-to-bottom coverage, you know, major intersections, but you know, primarily whatever is out there, the parks and rec and all that other stuff, you know, tie it all in together into one project, one grant, and kind of finish and complete what I think the desire was for the cameras in the beginning, the inception of them years ago.
Yeah, so I just want to give everybody an update on that project is in the works, you know, trying to find funds to get that project completed. So any questions for myself or Chief on that? All right, then moving on here to the fob system / alarm system that we have in offices. So long story short, it's my recommendation that we look to do it under one IT company, such as Innotech that we have now, that's managed under one company rather than calling different people in to manage that portion of it. Because right now we're having problems with the fob, like sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, getting them activated, deactivated, and things like that. So I don't know if council is interested in looking at Innotech, see if they have that capability in their realm already, because right now we do pay a small fee to have someone manage it, but rather than having, you know, a third party compared to our entire system right now who we have with Innotech. So I didn't know if council would be interested in looking into Innotech to see if they have that capability to, you know, get our fobs consistently working, our alarm system consistently working, and things like that. So I don't know how council felt about that.
Well, since we have them on board.
It makes sense to continue with them. All right, Justin.
And they could call and ask them, they can work with the current system policy that they have now, so there's no change.
I would assume so, yes, because, like I said, the fob system that's there now, you know, things may have, the admin stuff may have to be reset, but we won't know until they get in here and actually look at this system and see what the capability
I'm
is.
just saying, infrastructure-wise, hopefully they can.
Hopefully they can. So we'll reach out to Innotech to see if they have the capability and what our system is capable of. And then last one, Treasurer Martina, about the time clock system.
I just did a quick, what I'd like to see if we do choose to go with the time clock system, which I think would be beneficial for all of us. I know the big concern was picking a time, like the time frame allowing them to log in and log out. We can go with the standard, which is a 7-minute rule.
Yeah.
We can go where you have to clock in at 8, you clock out when you leave, or 30, you know. We have those options. I talked to Mark at Harris, and he said we can make it as general as we want or as buttoned down as we want. I know that was your concern, but I'd like to try to
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna move to Chief Slack on the time clock system with the police, and even with Councilman Eicher, because, you know, there's not one, you know, like, they don't work at normal, like, 7.
And what he can adapt for every department. Steve's already wants to do a demo with them.
Yeah.
You can show every department exactly what can be done. It can do it, I'm sorry, I want to say grab the chief.
Yeah.
It can do what he's doing now.
Yeah.
And then it all circumvents right into our payroll system. That we're not doing time cards on paper anymore because we are not in the 1900s. And we have to get forward. We have to be able to keep better track of things, monitor things, you have vacations, you have everything, and it's there.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this
For
when I was on council,
too long.
before I was on council.
Too
So it's
long.
been going for a long time.
We need the system.
Yeah.
Work out the bugs.
If you want me to schedule a time so that Brad and, because it's gonna probably, Brad and Steve's department, I mean, Jim's department is pretty simple too, considering you just have to clock in and clock out when you come in. It's gonna work your hours. That's what it's based on.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna, and Brad can set it up where every holiday, every birthday, every vacation, everything the police get, it can be tracked to the exact.
No, I think it's a thing that, like, we're well overdue for it.
But if you two want that, I will set that up and you
I
guys
mean,
can
for
post
the
it.
record, I'm very pleased with that.
I know you
Where
are.
we have a system in
But
place
you
that
have
does a
something
great
that's
job.
completely separate from the rest of us
I
and doesn't
understand.
work with our payroll system.
So I'm just saying, I like my system, and it's easy for me to work out with great. But
It isn't
we'll
even
look at
very
it.
easy for you to do the exact same thing. And it'll make it easier.
But
for
we're on
you.
camera 24/7, people come and go, and my issue is with someone, there's emergency calls, and people come flooding in, and I have to go back to their call, that stuff. That's all.
You know, they can put it on, you have to just approve it like you do now.
I'm saying, they're not gonna drop, well, I'm saying they're not gonna run the trial. They're not gonna keep-
What was that?
So let's run your trial and see.
I'm
You know what I
okay
mean?
with
Let's
that.
have it.
But we have to do something, and the problem is, we have X, Y, and Z, and they're not matching.
Yeah.
Well, how about this, like you said, Steve can run his trial, and Chief Slack, if you wanna run your trial to see how it goes, we can go back, then come back and make a general decision, hey, how do we wanna
It
proceed?
sounds like they're pretty flexible about making some tweaks that
Yeah.
you may need, or I may need, or whatever, because it's definitely work with.
Nope, I will.
That works.
Whatever. I'll just reach out to Mark and give him each one of your numbers.
Awesome.
If that's okay, or email, whichever works.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
All right, any other discussion topics that we forgot to put on the list? All right, moving on to announcements. The next council meeting will take place Monday, July 27th, here at 6:15 in the council chamber. Quick reminder, Joe Snedeker, WNEP, will be doing his GoJoe ride. He'll be coming into Sunbury July 22nd between the hours of 4 and 6:30. We don't know his exact arrival, but that's the time frame that his team gave us. So GoJoe will be here July 22nd. Any other announcements from council or anyone else? Steve?
Yeah, August 3rd and 4th, DPW is going to be working our annual training with flood control. We're going to be shutting down various areas throughout the city. The only one that really affects the public will be the shutdown on Route 61. That'll be 10 a.m. on August 3rd. We'll be shutting down Route 61 and putting up the flood barriers. It's all training exercise. We do it every year, put them up, take them down.
All right, any other announcements? All right, at this time, is there any public comment at this time? I'm working my way over. Please say your name, sir.
Rick Shamari, Chairman of the Sunbury Fire Department Consolidation Committee. I just want to let everyone know that we've gotten our long-awaited no objection letter from the Attorney General. So we will look at starting our organizational meeting in September. We have a few things to iron out. But come September, we should be under our new title and our new organization. So it's been a long process. I appreciate everyone's patience, but as always, we look forward to continuing moving ahead to provide efficient volunteer fire service.
Thank you, sir. Please say your name, ma'am.
Barb Young, I just wanted to thank the mayor's office for sending somebody down to my house to mow my grass, because I have a major back issue, and it's been a real pleasure.
Well, we appreciate it. We can help you, and if you know anyone else who may need the help, send them Jeff's way, and we'll make sure it gets done. So thank you. He may not do it. We'll send some.
I might. I might.
Please state your name, ma'am.
Tracy Lesher. Back to the part-time code position, will that be benefits eligible or no?
No.
And why only one at this time?
Because I want to make sure that they get the training they need before we add anybody else. I want to make sure that they are adept at their job and they can do it effectively before hiring any more staff.
Have you developed a new job description for the supervisor of the code office?
That job description is already out there before when the contract was proposed with NEFC.
Well, I thought that you said that you and Jackie were going to work together to come up with a updated job description for code officers and also the supervisor.
Supervisors are already done, and that's when, that was done before the NEIC contract was put up for vote. Now we're working on the code officer full-time job descriptions.
Okay, So when does the NEIC supervising contract thing end?
That's on a month-to-month basis, so as we develop more and iron out policies and procedures, that we feel it's streamlined enough to pass down to the next supervisor, she will assist them in training them, and,
When will you be posting for the supervisor? It takes a while, obviously, to post a job, interview, hire somebody, so when is that gonna come in? Because I think I recall you saying you wanted to give it 7 months with Jackie being head of the code office.
I don't believe I said 7 months.
I'll look back in the meetings and the recordings and stuff and see where you said that.
I don't believe it was 7 months, and I do think Jack and I are working together to.
Will you have a permanent supervisor in place by the time her contract is up?
Yes.
Okay. And I do have one other comment actually for Officer Slack. How many days do you give somebody to pay for, how many days do you give somebody to pay a street sweeping fine?
The fine doubles after, this 48 hours, and we end up, 72 hours, it's double.
So 72
Okay,
hours,
and
so
then-
if I get a
but
ticket on,
then after that's 10 days.
so if I get a ticket on Thursday, paid it on Friday, and the check came back from the bank and I got a letter from City Hall the same day.
That happens a lot because of mill trash, how slow it is and stuff.
Well,
They
I know,
usually
but
write it
that's-
out.
isn't
That
that
happens
waste
with
of money
some
to
error,
print it
some
out?
error, and when they send it in time, they got it and wrote it and stuff. It happens. But you didn't pay any more and you got.
Oh, I didn't pay any more, but the city collectively is paying more on postage.
I know, but in the meantime,
they
there's
have
a
a-
deadline after 72 hours. And
So
the
the
check
deadline's
might have
72 hours.
your check might have went in the bank Friday and they didn't get cashed out the Monday. So that went the whole weekend and Monday.
So you
And
count
Monday
the
even
weekend.
showed up Monday and Monday didn't even show up Tuesday.
Thank you, count the weekend.
And
So
then-
you do count the weekend.
Right.
Well, that's not right. That's not fair.
But it does happen, but if you don't get paid, we correct
If
it.
you call Officer Harvey, he usually works with everybody, and
I just kind of wondered how that worked, because it's like, holy cow, here's a chance to pay it, for Christ's sake.
All right, go ahead, please say your name, sir.
Gene Trout. I'd just like to comment that the mowing program, I think, is a wonderful idea. I think we should expand it, because I would probably pay someone in the city to mow my lawn. So, I do not like doing it, but I'm just saying, for a reasonable price, I would pay that.
In case somebody else call me.
Yeah. Okay. We will speak to Solicitor Louise if that is an option.
And also, just be careful with the camera initiative that you're doing, because I can remember a number of years ago with the fiasco and the American with all that, so just please look at it 2-3 times.
Well, everything will go through council for approval before any work is done like that.
I don't think it was current time, at least not all.
Anything else? All right. Guys, we just try to save side conversations to the end. Please state your name, sir.
Mr. Ramos, we're gonna need that job description upstairs tomorrow morning. Post tomorrow.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start my way over here, work my way over. Please state your name, sir.
Joseph Stutzman. Public comments are for comments, they're not for Q&A. Just thought I'd point that out.
Thank you. Please state your name, ma'am.
I apologize for the question that I'm about to ask for the gentleman that he said, but I would like to know what the quality of like ticketing ordinance is, and why does it seem like the code of office here in Sunbury is not followed?
Jackie. Can I defer you, Jackie?
Yeah, so the quality of life ticketing ordinance is basically an ordinance that was put in place to streamline time-sensitive items that can't really be enforced by the property maintenance code. So quality of life ticketing is shoveling of sidewalks in the wintertime, trash removal, and tall grass and weeds.
Can we speak after, if that's okay?
That's up to council.
Well, I'm trying to hear what she said, ma'am.
I asked her if we could speak after.
Oh, yeah, that's up to you guys, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anything else, ma'am?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please state your name.
Stephanie Sterner. I live in the 1100 block of Port Street. I hope the police chief is listening. You investigate a lot of activity in that area, from the intersection of 11th and Port and Market over to the end of that circle. That place needs a lot of work. That whole block needs work. There's a pothole. It lacks adequate lighting. The sidewalks are all in disrepair. Oh, no, it does no good to, I'm not tech savvy anymore. I used to be, I'm not anymore. And it needs attention, that whole block. And recently when they were working at a house that intersects with Market Street at Port and Highland, they were taking a tree out and they blocked the street. They didn't let anybody on the block know. When I called communications, they told me, well, is there an alternative way to get out of there? Yeah, down the disaster drop that goes off behind in these unnamed alleys. I can see why they're not named because they're full of potholes and they're laden with a disaster waiting to happen with a vehicle or a child on a bicycle. It's dangerous. And we haven't seen a street sweeper through there. I know the parking ordinance. They don't even look at the parking ordinance because there's one sign on the street, and guess what? Right now it's covered by a bush. You wouldn't know that there's no parking ordinance on in the 1100 block of Port Street on Friday mornings. It's a mess. I would love for somebody to come up there and be all of
I'll be up there first thing tomorrow morning.
make a walk through there, including you.
I'll be up there tomorrow morning.
Walk it.
We'll take a peek at it. The sidewalks, that's not our.
Now, I won't be
But
home
the street
because
and the
I work
potholes,
at the family
but the
pantry.
streets and potholes, that's my department, and we'll take a look at that first thing tomorrow morning.
Good, because that whole area, and what about lights?
I don't know about it, I
Can we get
can't
lights?
fix them, all right?
That's a code issue.
Can we get a street light?
Yeah, the street lights are easy, just get rid of the pole.
Get another, no parking sign, and maybe then the street sweeper just been through there like 4 years. It's been 4 years since we've seen anybody, and your parking officer says, oh, I'm not gonna ticket anybody for parking on here on Fridays because we don't have enough signs to go around. So we're not getting any of the services that anybody else in the city gets on that block. Snow removal, that snowplow this last winter went through once the entire winter.
Jackie, if that does happen in the winter, like just call down, we'll make sure it gets up there. I know Councilman Troop is very active on those things.
Okay, why doesn't it just get considered that that is a residential area? There shouldn't even be any through traffic through there, and it's so bad in there that there's potholes now.
Well, ma'am, as Councilman Troop said, he's gonna come up tomorrow, he's gonna look at everything, hear your concerns, and try to get as many things as he can address.
You know, Steve and I have a list of alleys that we're gonna go through here and pick out that we wanna do before the end, before the winter sets in.
Pick
So
on
we'll get up there and check
disaster
it out.
alley and
We'll get up and check it out.
thank you very much.
No problem.
Please state your name, ma'am.
Hi, Amanda Bowersox, the special needs mom, Chief Slack. I'd like to ask, is there a possibility for officers or even people in the community that would like to stand at bus stops? My daughter almost got hit 4 times in the fall, and I did bring it up to the female officer, I can't remember her name, I apologize. She said that there was going to be somebody posted there, but she also said you guys were lacking, which I completely respect. I don't want my child to get hit as well as any other child. I know Head Start struggles with their bus stops and pickups, because I do work with Head Start and CSIU as well. Is there a way even community members would want to stand there, like I know Seal Grove does it, I know Warrior Run does it. Is there anybody in the community that can help just enforce that? Because I literally sit out there risking my own life for my child, which I will die for my children.
Does the school district have anything to do with that?
No, the school district has nothing to do with that. I was told to talk to the officers.
Well, I mean, just going back, so when we spoke earlier about our camera project, we
Yes.
are in like this was last year, like I said, this is about the grant, applying for a grant to put at these bus stops for cars who run or are not safe around these bus stops, so we can, obviously, there's many bus stops throughout the city, we can't have an officer posted every single one, every single day. So that's why part of this camera project, trying to get cameras at these bus stops, so when people like yourself do call and say, hey, today, so this vehicle ran the school bus stop sign, we can run the camera footage and hold those people accountable. So like your concerns are not going unheard. It's just like part of this camera project that we are trying to get done with not only within the city, but with the school district as well. And I know Chief Slack does work diligently to try to get as many officers to these different bus stops as we can. But it's one of those things throughout the morning, there's 25 bus stops throughout the city.
27.
Well, I
respect
that. I totally
Be 30.
respect that, and I know that there's different times between Head Start pickups and school district pickups. Could I make a suggestion that 11th Street and Ray Street pickup up there, because that pickup, I've had so many running through there. I just don't want any other child getting hurt.
So if I may, so 27 bus stops, and I assure you that I've had complaints at probably 20 of them.
Okay.
Okay, so that's some of the issue. And yes, at times there's one or two officers on. At that hour, we're trying to beat schedule, we're getting back at 12. Generally, we'll always be two officers at the bus time after that, 7 a.m. Start, and then about 3 p.m. Drop off for school. So the hurdles are exactly what we said. We're trying to do a camera project to hopefully help with this is the dream. Trying to work with you at that, and I would urge you. So I'm trying to work with the bus community, the bus company as well, because perceptions on their encroachment are taking over the intersection. Because some of the issue with enforcement is if a bus is back from the intersection very far, that person, they're making the right-hand turns, they're not controlling that intersection where, the bus comes to the stop sign, puts the sign out, all four intersections have to stop. So some of the problems are, other places are calling because they're going left or right at these other intersections. They're not driving necessarily by the bus. The other hurdle is then the bus driver might know a make and model, but they don't have a license plate. The bus driver has to fill out a statement and then also put a complaint form together that we can make an arrest on. So we're working with them to try to do better with that, and then hopefully, try to do as many steps as we can. I'll take what you're telling us, and I'll talk to the school and the bus about. I'll work with Sean Williams and try to see if we can come up with a solution with maybe some like a potential civilian opportunity, like. Well, cameras on the buses are an issue. They have cameras that film the kids, and not cameras that go forward.
Yeah.
And that's an issue the bus company that I've been trying to deal with because they didn't put them together.
Well,
But
I know
anyhow.
a lot of the special needs vans just now got cameras on there too, and I know it's a struggle for them to see because they don't follow because they don't have the arm and the stop sign.
Correct.
So my son is still, we're doing better with that, but I was told per transportation office to speak directly to you guys. I just wanted to bring it up. I've been watching meetings and I finally wanted to come to one to express it because I know school year's coming up. I'm student teaching in the fall. I just want to look out for all these kids. I really, really do.
If you want to, you can follow with me, next month before school starts, try to see if we made any progress.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't project it one way or another. I can't necessarily control them, but it is an issue, and I agree with you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Please say name, ma'am.
Sorry, one more time, Marie Lamardo. This is just a comment. Your disparate impact is obviously clearly showing. Thank you.
Please say your name, sir.
Mark Gittens. I just want to say to that parent, our church is on 11th and Race, and we have cameras that see the street, 11th and Race Street, and where the kids stand. If there is ever a problem until that's in, you can call 988-HOPE and tell them the time and date, and they can send that to the police.
You mean down there where the truck pickups are?
We see
Because that's
all
what I
of that
did.
11th, it's all cameras, it's all security cameras.
Thank you.
So just-
No, I didn't know that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other public comment at this time? Any other public comment at this time? I adjourn this meeting.